Welcome to the Fertility podcast. Today is a mailbag episode, and I'm your host today, Ciaran. The mailbag episodes are all about you, our listeners, being able to contact us, send your messages in, send your questions in, so we can answer them openly, honestly, with our own experience and knowledge. Today's episode tackles quite a few challenging topics in relation to male fertility. That includes mental health, relationships, but also practical advice on maybe how to choose the right clinic for you, but also when you should be asking to be tested, because it's something that I wish I'd known earlier in my journey. Before we get going, if you do want to send us a message, you can email at the Male Fertility Podcast at gmail.com, or send us a message on Instagram, which is simply the Male Fertility Podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram, but also YouTube. And if you feel there's someone that you know that might benefit, please send them a link, because it's important that no man feels that they're alone during this challenging time. Let's get on with the questions. So our first question today is from Luke from London. And he says, my wife and I have been trying to conceive for over a year now, and we're starting to look into things. My wife has been to a GP and had several checks, but no one's mentioned anything about me getting checked yet. It's not even part of the equation at the moment. And I'm starting to wonder, why haven't I been tested yet? And should I have been? This is a great question, Luke, and I think it's worth picking apart in different ways to get the answer that you're looking for. First of all, you was done the right thing by going to the GP. I know personally how frustrating it is when you get further down the line and you haven't yet been tested, and you actually ultimately find out that you're the main issue in the whole factor, or at least a large contributing issue. With me, my wife had polycystic ovaries, so that was assumed that was the main cause, but we found out otherwise. What I would say in this situation is, if you have concerns or you want to be tested, request it yourself. Book an appointment, go to the doctors and say, look, we've been trying for a year, haven't been successful. My wife is having tests. I also wish to have a semen analysis just to check what's going on my side. The last thing you want to do, Luke, is leave it and wish you'd gone earlier and asked that question. So book yourself an appointment individually, or take your wife with you, or go with your wife's next appointment, but you'd probably have to make a separate GP appointment for them to focus on you, because they tend to like that rather than mixing appointments. A back-to-back appointment if possible. So your wife's in there and you're with her and you can have longer to discuss your concerns. All too common amongst men is, I fell into this trap, is that you automatically assume that it's a woman's issue, it's a female issue, and it's not always. So yeah, get yourself tested. It's definitely better to be proactive than sit on your hands and then wish you had. So book your appointment, get going, get that semen analysis done. So our next question is from Ben. He's from Birmingham. After being diagnosed with male factor infertility, I've been struggling with a strange, heavy feeling. I can't quite explain it. I don't feel like myself. I feel ashamed, like I've let my wife down somehow. Did your diagnosis make you feel less of a man? This is a really deeply personal question, and something that I think so many men feel. They feel like they've let their partner down. They feel less than a man. They feel like their identity has changed. And it takes time to process that. Initially, it can be a lot of shock. And that causes a lot of questions in your head. I think society's view of masculinity, and especially you're deemed a man if you have loads of kids, is massively forced upon us from a very young age. And of course, getting a diagnosis of being infertile or having some fertility or fertility challenges in whatever way suddenly causes you to question everything you ever thought of yourself and the world around you in some ways. What's really important to remember is that you haven't let your wife down in any way. And you are still every bit of a man that you were beforehand. After I processed everything, my diagnosis, or my treatment, the journey that we went on. Well, what helped me come to terms with the whole situation was I was still Ciaran, but I had a little bit more information. I had another piece of the puzzle that I didn't have before, but it didn't change who I was. I was still a fun-loving guy who liked to have fun, was great to be around, was charismatic, who could play rugby, who liked to lift heavy weights. All these things that were me, they were still me. I just had a little bit more information. Yes, it takes time to process it. Give yourself time. Talk to your wife as well, or your partner. It's incredibly powerful to sit down and have that conversation. It's difficult though, and I'm sure that she'll reassure you that it's all right, and she loves you for who you are, and that's not going to change. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself time. It's a completely natural feeling, but purposely try to work through it. You're not the only one that feels like this. If you're looking for additional support or want to hear other people that have experienced this, series 3 of our podcast, we talked to 10 other guys and nearly all of them expressed what you've just highlighted. So please go back and listen to that, mate. The next question comes from John from Manchester. And this says, since finding out I had a low sperm count, I can't stop wondering if I caused it. I keep replaying my past in my head, the stress, the late nights, the lifestyle choices, and I can't help but blame myself. Did I bring this upon myself? Right. This is another thought process that a lot of guys have when they first get their diagnosis. Have I done something that's caused this? Me, myself, in my younger years, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed a drink. I've talked very openly about that. I played rugby. There's a rugby culture. I took protein shakes. I wasn't kind to myself in the gym. I caned myself to the point of collapse. All these things, I'd sit there and go, was it this? Was it that? The truth is that fertility is complicated. Yes, lifestyle can play a role, but there's also so many other things that can impact and affect fertility, both in men and women. What helped me when I was really questioning things was focusing on what I could take control of. So what was in the past was in the past. I could never be 100% sure that it did or it didn't impact my fertility. But what I could do is from that moment, I became conscious of it, make the right choices, make the right lifestyle choices to optimize my health, thus trying to improve my fertility. And for me, that was cutting out alcohol, exercising appropriately, eating appropriately, getting good sleep, and trying to reduce my stress. All those things that I previously didn't really care about, not to the same extent maybe, became important to me. My advice is to draw a line in the sand. You can't do anything about the past, and you can't even identify if something specific in the past caused anything, especially if you're looking at a diagnosis of maybe unknown fertility factors where you don't know why you're infertile, like I was. But from that moment that you recognize that, start making those lifestyle choices that are healthier and will help you optimize your health. Take control back rather than look back and feel like you're out of control. Make small changes at a time, because I distinctly tried to make loads at once and I failed several times before I actually implemented a plan that was gradual. Identify one thing. So if you think that maybe the heavy drinking in the past has caused an issue, focus on your drinking first. Control the element that you're worried about and be proactive in it. So start small and build. And you're not alone either. So many guys out there have this question and make lifestyle choices and see benefits from them. I hope that helps, buddy.
We want to tell you about Impril, the unique supplement for conception which is recommended by fertility specialists for both men and women. We know that poor nutrition is one of the leading causes of infertility, but we are also aware that it's practically impossible to maintain a diet that's perfectly balanced, especially for conception. Choosing the right supplement can be confusing. Many multivitamins contain strong antioxidants, which may actually damage sperm quality. Impril is made from activated micronutrients, which help every cell within the human body, from the biggest, the egg, to the smallest, the sperm. These micronutrients have been clinically proven to significantly improve live birth rates for men and women who have previously been struggling to get pregnant. You can find out more and hear from couples who have used Impril by visiting fertilityfamily.co.uk. If you decide this is for you, there's a 10% discount just for our listeners. So make a note of the code MF Podcasts 10. That's capital M, capital F, podcast, all in lowercase, 10.
This one is Ryan from Leeds, and not far from Leeds at all. I hope you're well, Ryan, and more than happy if you wanted to reach out to meet up in person. Just let me know, buddy. Ryan writes, my wife and I are both going through things right now, but I've been keeping quiet about how I'm feeling. She's carrying so much, and I don't want to add to her stress, but the silence is getting heavier. How do I talk to my wife about how I'm feeling? That is something that I distinctly remember thinking and being anxious and nervous about. When I got to the end in terms of the energy that I had, I didn't know which way to turn. I didn't know who to talk to, but I knew I couldn't continue the way I was going because it wasn't healthy for me and it wasn't healthy for Jen, my wife. I distinctly remember the anxiety, the fear of bringing up how I was feeling to Jen. And we'd arranged that we were going to talk in the evening. And I went for a walk and I was like, I didn't know how I was going to tell her the fact that I was feeling so bad and I didn't know what to do. And part of me didn't want to continue with the treatment anymore because I felt so bad about myself. And yeah, it was a genuine fear. I'm going to highlight that at the time, me and Jen have been together a long time. We're talking like 6, 7 years. I trusted her. I trusted her with everything I had. And I knew she loved me with every part of her soul and heart. But the fear was still there to talk to her. And it felt almost like she was someone I didn't know. And I had to have a conversation with that person about something that was deeply personal. And I think that just shows how vulnerable men feel when they are through these fertility challenges that we are or have been. And it's a real feeling, my friend. And so many men feel exactly the same way. You're not the only one. But my advice to you, buddy, is to tell her you want to speak to her. And you can either tell her you want to speak to her and do it directly there and then. Think about what you want to say and how you want to put it across and what the point of the whole conversation is. But you can also book a time to take her out to dinner and talk to her in a bit more of a relaxed situation that maybe is more appropriate for you. The important thing is that you take that first step to talk to her. She loves you. She will support you. And you're in it together, mate. You know, I actually found out after talking to my wife, talking to Jen, and that me expressing how I felt actually made her feel better because she thought I wasn't being affected by her, even though there were clear telltale signs. Until I'd actually said it, she wasn't sure. We had the conversation that she actually thought that I didn't want to proceed because I just got fed up with it and I didn't want it anymore. And it wasn't that at all. It was the fact of I was just really struggling. But once we'd got that conversation aired out and we'd put a plan together on how we were going to tackle it together, things got significantly better. And we grew as a couple, which is incredibly powerful, not just through your journey, but also through your life together. It was definitely one of the most significant moments in our relationship. So my advice, mate, is to take that step, be brave, you're not being a burden to her. She'll appreciate it more than you think. So yeah, mate, that's how you get on. And like I said, if you want to reach out, be more than happy to grab a coffee or something. So the last question today is from Adam from Newcastle, writes in and says, my wife and I are finally at the point where we're ready to look into clinics. But honestly, I'm overwhelmed. There are so many out there and I have no idea how to tell which one's right for us. How do I know which clinic to use? How do I get started choosing? This is something that I also felt completely overwhelmed by. And I was in the fortunate position that Jen works in the NHS. So she has contacts and knowledge on where to look, should I say. But what it came down to ultimately was the facts in terms of the clinic success rates, what treatments they offered, also what the Care Quality Commission rated them in the local area. So there are things that we did look at in terms of facts and figures, but it was also important how we felt when we went there. For our second round of treatments, after my son was born and we decided that we wanted to try again, we went private. And we'd moved to the north by then. We were living in near Leeds. So we weren't familiar with the clinics around us. So we visited a few. We identified the facts and figures that we were keen on. And then we went and visited the ones that we want to. And there was a clear feeling. Some we were drawn to. One in particular that we actually went on to use. And others that were amazing, but we just didn't feel they were right for us. So these are my bits of advice here. Look beyond the website. Look into the success rates, what they offer, also what their CQC rate them. From there, identify the ones that you're keen on and visit them. Book a consultation, book a visit, and go and have a look. If it's male factor, think about that. What do these guys do for male factor and fertility? Is there anything that sets them apart? Ask the questions. Ask those type of questions. What tests do you offer? What is the standard? And through that, you'll be able to put together a puzzle that's right for you, and you'll find the right clinic for you. I hope that helps. So that's it for today's mailbag. Please remember that these podcasts are designed for guidance and support. They are not in any way designed to replace professional medical advice. So if you do have any other questions that need a deeper level of content, please contact your clinic, your doctor, or another professional that can help you. In the meantime, if you would like a question read out, please contact us via the Male Fertility Podcast at gmail.com, or you can contact us via Instagram, simply at Male Fertility Podcast. I hope it's been helpful. I've really enjoyed it. Take care. Thanks for listening. If you found value in today's conversation, please follow the show and share with someone who might benefit.